Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my top reads of Q3 of 2021. I always love this video every quarter, looking back at all the books I've read and seeing which ones stand out above the rest. And this quarter I have 6 standouts that were cut above the rest of the books I read. And this quarter is unique because all of my books are horror books. Usually I have a mixture of things. I read some darn good horror books this quarter, and I'd love to tell you about them. My 6th favorite read of Q3, which is July, August, and September, is My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. I really loved this character that Stephen Graham Jones developed that finds solace in slasher movies and wants real life to be like a slasher movie. And I really felt for her because she was dealing with so much. Something that you will notice in the books that I love more than all the others is that there is an emotional connection to the characters for me. And a great character is what makes or breaks a book. So, My Heart is a Chainsaw. I felt for the main character. I love the world he created, with the slasher lore and slasher kind of starting to take place in this small town. And the finale was top-notch, perfection. I can see it as a movie. I want to see it as a movie. And there you go. A great summer slasher book. And I loved it. The 5th favorite book I read in Q3 was Hetty by Eddie Generous, which was a surprise for me. I had not heard of it before I decided to read it from NetGalley, and it was such a great book about found family and real people dealing with real life things, but also a haunting. Yes, I love haunted house stories. This was a haunted schoolhouse story, and I loved it. The class of ghost children and the ghost teacher were supremely scary and spooky. It was all of the great spooky vibes. And the characters were great. A single mom and her son living in not the greatest place to have a small child, and the good neighbor that's always helping out. And there was even a bit of a romance, and the good guy does not finish last in this one, which I really appreciate. But it was like a realistic romance. It wasn't like, you know, it was just real and lovely. And you know, it does deal with very serious issues with death of children and children in danger and not so nice men treating women not so nicely. But there was also a lot of positive feelings as well, which is not common in horror books, especially ones that I end up loving. Usually they're very dark and not happy, but this just mixed the happy with the not happy in a really great way that I loved so much, and that's why it's number 5 on my list. Number 4 was a fantastic short story collection called Out of Water by Sarah Reed. I read The Bone Weaver's Orchard by Sarah Reed a couple years ago, and I really loved that book, which was also kind of had haunted schoolhouse type vibes, about this school for boys, where the boys live there and really strange things happening. And oh, I love that book. And I knew I wanted to read her short story collection. I am mad at myself that it took so long to get to it, and it was fantastic. It was all about the water, things in the water, things that should be in the water but are out. All the stories were very different, some of them very magical, all very spooky and lovely. I remember really loving each story for different reasons and in different ways, and I'm really glad that I finally read it, and I highly recommend it. Okay, my third favorite book of the quarter is Experimental Film by Gemma Files, and this was a really cool book. It focuses around experimental films, a filmmaker who is also mother of a son with, I believe, autism, and it deals with like very real, not so fantastic inner thoughts and feelings about motherhood and the struggle she has as a mother, and wanting to be more than just a mother, wanting to make this movie. And that's the part that I love, the part about the character study of this not super likable main character. It was fantastic, but there was also a bit of a like folklore thing going on, and it was fantastic. And the journey that this odd set of circumstances brings the mother and son closer together, and I love that. So yes, Experimental Film is fantastic. Highly recommend. The second best book I read this quarter is Crossroads by Laurel Hightower. And I just read this. I knew I was going to love it, and surprise, I did. And this is all about the gut-wrenching feelings of a mother who has lost her teenage son in a car accident and not being able to let go. And she visits the site where he died every single night. When she accidentally cuts herself and blood goes into the ground, she sees her son that night. And then it's about what she's willing to do to keep seeing her son. And it is pretty messed up and really, really heartbreaking, emotional, and beautiful. And the best book that I read this quarter is another one that's all about grief. And this one, I think it wins. It definitely wins. I love this book. It's definitely a new favorite because grief is a black house. This is Remains by Andrew Cull. And I won this book in a giveaway. He sent it all the way from Australia. Really appreciate that, since it is like my new favorite book. It's about another mother who loses her son and is not dealing with it well. She's not dealing with it to the point that she has to go into a mental hospital. And when she gets out, she ends up buying the house that her son died in and living in it, and just is consumed, completely consumed, and the grief and her loss becomes her entire life. This was heartbreaking. It was so sad, and This is pitch black book. There are not happy-go-lucky feelings going on here. It is all pit of despair, and I ate it up. And I guess that's what you gotta do to become a favorite of mine. Oh, yeah, this book was amazing. It was also very spooky, very, very creepy, haunted house vibes. Also, just psychological horror. And, oh, it's everything. This book is everything. I can't wait to read everything that Andrew Cull has written. It was an experience. So those are my 6 favorite books from July, August, and September of this year, quarter 3. These are the ones that will be in the running for my top books of the year at the end of the year, which is always so much fun to make. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you found some recommendations to check out, and I'll be back very soon with another book-related video. Thanks. Bye.